And that CCTV footage, chilling, disturbing to say the least, to see how brazenly the terrorist enters the first time, does a sort of a recce, sees if the bank manager is there, leaves, 2 minutes later enters with a gun and shoots him dead. And unfortunately, hours after that, another incident that's been reported in Kashmir, in Budgam, where 2 laborers were attacked. They were shot at. One of them has unfortunately died. The other is receiving treatment for his injuries. The laborers were not from Kashmir. They were non-locals. The person who's died is Dilkhush Kumar from Bihar. You know that the bank employee, the bank manager was targeted yesterday, Vijay Kumar, was from Rajasthan. So a worrying trend here of non-locals being targeted, of minorities being targeted, because in the last few weeks we've seen Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits also being targeted. So they were locals and yet killed by terrorists. So this is extremely concerning. It's also sparked a lot of concern for residents in the valley. People who aren't from Kashmir, who are there on work, they're struggling, they're scared to go to their workplaces right now. They're demanding answers from the government. Similarly, minorities, Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits are saying, what are you doing for our safety? How has it gotten so bad in the valley that every single day, literally, there are cases of these kind of killings happening? Well, as far as the government is concerned, the Modi government is making it clear that they've taken cognizance of the spate of violence in the valley. Today, Home Minister Amit Shah is going to be holding a security review meet. He's been holding a number of them, in fact, in the last few weeks as well. He held one less than a fortnight ago, then met with NSA Ajit Doval as well yesterday. And today, he's again holding a high-level meeting to discuss what needs to be done to address this violence. Clearly, there needs to be a complete overhaul, a rethink of what are the current existing steps and measures, because they're not working in stopping these kind of attacks. Yes, soon after the attack takes place, our forces are extremely alert, ensure that they nab, identify whoever the terrorist was who was involved. But this is all action that's taken post the killing. What can be done to stop it and to ensure that it's nipped in the bud? That's what the government is going to be discussing, particularly because of all the fear that's spreading across the valley. There have been multiple reports of Kashmiri Hindus, of Kashmiri Pandits leaving now. And we don't want to spread any panic or fear or anything like that. But obviously, it's triggering a lot of memories of an exodus. It's not happened anywhere close to that right now. But there are a few families who've said that, hey, we're concerned for our safety. We're packing our bags and are leaving. So that itself is leading to a lot of worry that the government must immediately assuage. They must, in fact, address the concerns of the people. The opposition is latched onto this, saying, is this what you meant by Naya Kashmir? Is this what you wanted when you spoke about changing Kashmir for the better? So they're also putting a lot of pressure on the government to act on this and ensure that minorities, non-locals, don't feel as unsafe as they currently do in the valley. That's a story we're tracking very, very closely here on India Today, because it's extremely concerning what's been happening in the last few weeks in the valley. Let's move on to the other big story of the day. It's been 5 days since the murder of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moose Wala. I know there are a lot of questions about what happened, who killed him, etc. We don't have those answers just yet, because the Punjab police is yet to identify the shooters. Chief Minister Bhagwat, who's been facing a lot of flack over the fact that his government withdrew security just a day before Moose Wala was murdered, is now at Moose Wala's residence in Mansa. It's taken 5 days for him to be there. He should have done this the day after Moose Wala was killed, to be there with the family, assure them that they get all the support from the government. Didn't do that. 5 days later, today, he's turned up there. There was a lot of anger among locals as well, understandably so, asking questions of the government. So early this morning, you had an AAP MLA actually going there, was completely geared out and had to turn back because locals refused to let him enter Moose Wala's residence. But having said that, after that, there was speculation that Chief Minister Man will not turn up. He did turn up, but with this huge security deployment that ensured that no local was there protesting when he arrived. His vehicle went straight inside the residence. He's met with the family members. And remember, family members of Moose Wala have also been extremely critical of the Man government. They've said that, number one, there should be a central agency probe because we have no faith in the Punjab police. So we'll have to see if Chief Minister Man actually goes ahead after this and announces that there will be a central investigation into this particular case. So that is a big question mark. They've also been raising questions about why the government went ahead and withdrew security and then made it public as well. So Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann will have a lot of answering to do with the family members of Moose Wala. He's currently there. That meeting has been going on for over 1 hour or so. Another big development in this case, as far as the investigation itself is concerned, is that one of the most dreaded gangsters in the country, Lawrence Bishnoi, who is behind bars, he's in Delhi's Tihar jail, he's confessed that it was his gang that carried out the murder of Moose Wala, that he is the one who ordered it as well. So that's a big breakthrough as far as the investigation is concerned. It was always suspected that this was a result of gang war, that Lawrence Bishnoi was behind it. He was non-cooperative so far. But today has reportedly confessed to the Delhi police that yes, I ordered it, I hatched this murder conspiracy. Why did he do it? To avenge the death of one of his associates, of his aide. Now, why was Moose Wala targeted for that? Because it was Moose Wala's manager who had killed Bishnoi's aide and then fled to Australia. So Bishnoi was unable to get his hands on the manager, chose instead to avenge his aide's death by targeting Sidhu Moose Wala, and he's confessed to all of this to the Delhi police. He's given names of his gang members who were involved in this killing as well. So all of it essentially, with this confession at least, has been handed over in a platter to the Punjab police. It's up to them now to identify these shooters and nab them at the earliest. We're being told that 7 of them were involved. 1 has been identified and taken into custody so far. So that's a big story that we'll continue getting you the latest updates on and what it means for the state of Punjab. Law and order, gang wars, all of this being discussed currently in Punjab under Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann. The last story I want to tell you about is the entire Gyanvapi controversy. We've been seeing, of course, legally it's moving forward, but RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat has spoken out for the first time. He's issued a message perhaps that all of us need to listen to. He's issued a message of communal harmony, calling for restraint, calling for talks, and saying that, you know, we must ensure that we get together and just iron out all issues. Now, a couple of things that Bhagwat has said that's very important. One, he said that yes, there is certain devotion, certain sentiments linked to the Gyanvapi issue, particularly with the shivling being found. But he's saying don't follow that up by trying to find a shivling in every mosque. So essentially a message to the Hindus from Mohan Bhagwat saying don't make this a fight against mosques across the country. Don't let this have a domino effect, which it already is having in several parts of the country, like in Karnataka, where people, Hindu groups have been saying that look, this mosque was built on top of a temple, demolish it, conduct a survey, etc. He's saying don't do that. The other thing he's saying is don't blame today's Muslims for what happened in the past. Don't question them for what the Mughals did. Don't hold them accountable for anything that happened in the past. Let the history be exactly that. Let it be history. Don't continue to dig it up today. So this is an extremely important message from Mohan Bhagwat, because considering that it's being said by the RSS chief, this will perhaps resonate with Hindu groups who've been trying to make this a nationwide campaign, who've been saying that there are shivlings in other mosques that need to be identified immediately. They've also been raising this entire debate over Mughals, and Bhagwat is saying that let that be history. Don't bring that and drag that into today. Let there be harmony among all religions. And that's an extremely important message that I'm going to be leaving you with today, because let's hope that that brings some sort of resolution to the Gyanvapi issue and that it ends with mutual consent, with dialogue, rather than what's happening right now. That's all we have for you on this broadcast. Those are all the top stories that we're tracking. Hope you have a great weekend ahead as well. Thanks very much for tuning in.